हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतः नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सेदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् जातवेदसे सुनवामसो ममराति यतो निदहाद्विवेदः स नः परिषदति दुर्गान् विश्वानावेव सिन्धुं दुरिताद्यग्निः ताम् अग्निवर्णां तपसा ज्वलन्ति वैरोचनीं कर्मफलेषु जुष्टाम् दुर्गां देवीगुं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये सुतरसितरसे नमः अग्ने त्वं पारयानव्यो अस्मान् स्वस्तिभिरति दुर्गाणि विश्वा पूश्च पृथ्वी बहुलान उर्वी भवातोकायतनयाय शय्यो विश्वानिनो दुर्गः जातवेदः सिन्धुं ननाव दुरितादिपर्षि अग्ने अत्रिवन्मनसा गृणानोऽस्माकं भोज्यविता तनूनाम् प्रतनाजितगुं सहमानमुग्रमग्निगुं हुवेम परमास्तदस्तात् स नः परिषदति दुर्गाणि विश्वाक्षामर्देवो अतिदुरिताद्यग्निः प्रदोषिकमीड्यो अध्वरेषु सनाश्च होता नव्यश्च सत्सि स्वाञ्चाग्ने धनुवं पिप्रयस्वास्मभ्यं च सौभगमायजस्व गोभिर्जुष्टमयुजो निषिक्तं तवेन्द्र विष्णोरनुसञ्चरेम नाकस्य पृष्ठमभिसंवसानो वैष्णवीं लोकैहमादयन्ताम् कात्यायनाय विद्महे कन्याकुमारी धीमहि तन्नो दुर्गे प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा Sri Sai Deva. With gratitude, I offer my most loving pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Bhagavan. Revered elders, esteemed teachers, dear sisters and brothers, a loving Sairam to one and all. Once a guru and his disciple were walking by the side of a river. In the light of the setting sun, by the flowing waters, and amidst the thick green foliage, the disciple observed a radiant glow on the face of his guru. And he ventured to ask him, "Master, who are you really? And how do I relate to you?" To which the guru smiled and replied, "Son, if you see me as a guru, you become a seeker. If you see me as a beloved, you become a lover. If you see me as a master, you become a disciple. If you see me as a teacher, you become a student. If you see me as an incarnate, you become a devotee. But if you see me as yourself, you become me." And then, after a purposeful silence, the Guru added, "How you see me makes no difference to me, but it makes all the difference to you. Today, on the 20th of October, 72 years after the glorious, momentous declaration of his avatarhood by our most beloved Bhagavan, we ardently pray to him to help us see who he really is, and in the process also inevitably know who we really are. Today, as part of the third day of the Prashanthi Vidwan Mahasabha, we'll have two speakers from the Prashanthi Nilayam campus of the Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. And I request Professor Anantaraman, who is the media coordinator of the Sri Sathya Sai Central Trust and also a honorary professor in the Department of Management Studies of the Prashanthi Nilayam campus, to give his opening remarks on the significance of this most auspicious day. Professor Anantaraman.
Dear students and fellow devotees, today is a very significant day. It was on this day 72 years ago, in a small town called Uravakonda, in the erstwhile Madras Presidency of South India, a 14-year-old boy named Satyanarayana Raju returned from school one afternoon, cast away his books, and declared most emphatically to his sister, "I am no longer your Sathya. I am Sai Baba. My devotees beckon me. I have work to attend to. I am leaving." He moved into the garden of a neighborhood house, and to the people gathered there, he sang that epochal bhajan, "Manasa bhajare Guru Charanam, Dustara Babasagara Taranam." When his parents arrived from Puttaparthi a couple of days later to see what had happened to their beloved child, little Sathya washed their feet, mixed all the food prepared by Ishwaramma, made it into 3 morsels, and while eating the food said, "My Maya is gone." Reportedly, a photographer took a picture of little Sathya at that time, and as he took his picture, a little rock protruded into the picture, and finally when he developed the picture, that rock became, reportedly, a picture of Shirdi Sai, who was practically unknown in the state of Andhra Pradesh at that time. Swami himself declared subsequently that that day was only part of a 3-stage announcement of his divinity. The previous 2 being the reported scorpion bite earlier, and then on the 23rd May 1940, when he emphatically told his furious father, when he demanded why he was behaving in a strange manner, that he was Sai Baba. Today, we need to remember and recognize the significance of Swami or young Satyanarayana's statement on that day. His words that he no longer belonged to the family and that his devotees were waiting were a clear indication of the commencement of his avataric mission. It signified the end of his human born and the beginning of the spiritual relationship with his devotees, who had already started to trickle down to Prashanthi Nilayam in small numbers and subsequently in much larger numbers. Secondly, his assertion, "I am Sai," was one of his earliest references to the Sai phenomena and of his connection to Shirdi Sai earlier. Later on, he delineated the meanings of the 3 words, Sa, Ai, and Baba, to mean all, mother, and father. Or in other words, the universal mother-father principle of the divine parent. The intruding boulder, reportedly turning into a picture of Shirdi Sai, was to assert the oneness of the same Sai in all the forms, then, now, and in future. And finally, the very first song that he sang, Manasa Bhajare Guru Charanam, showed in a capsule the Catholicity of his beliefs. There was no reference to a particular god or religion or a sect, but basically he was talking that we must surrender to the divine principle, which alone is the true guru or preacher. That song again is not addressed to any particular deity or any particular sect or creed, but to a mind that is common to all humans. As we get up each morning now, we must be grateful that we were once contemporary of this being whose buoyant reality is beyond verbal definition. His infinite variety can only be experienced but cannot be explained. As Sir Isaac Newton said when he enunciated the principle of gravity, we are all like little children playing with pebbles on the seashore, while the great ocean of truth lay all undiscovered before us. We cannot understand his mystery. We can only immerse in it. As Swami himself said, dive and know the depth, eat and know the taste. But there is one aspect of his reality which is crystal clear, that he descended to facilitate our ascent. Swami himself announced, "Sadhus prayed and I came." There is a story of a flock of little birds caught in the swirling snow, unaware of the door to an open barn which would give them entry into warmth. The compassionate man who was inside the barn was gesticulating wildly to the birds and pointing them to the window that was open. But unfortunately, the birds could not understand the man's language or gesticulation. And the compassionate man prayed, "God, make me too into a little bird so that I could fly in with them." It is this self-same agony that makes God take a human form to come amongst humanity to save and to sustain. In a classic letter Swami wrote to his brother when he was 21, he declared that his task was to foster all human mankind, and his vow was to lead back all those who have been led astray. And in ringing tones he announced, "You yourself can see the full glory in the coming years." And what a glorious vision that we have seen. The mansion of Sai is a multi-storied splendor. Each story has a story to tell us. The story of an educational system that runs in 90 countries with 750,000 young men. The story of a healthcare model which provides primary and tertiary care completely free of cost. The story of a supply of the elixir of life water to a parched land hitherto condemned to drought and despair. The story of new homes to communities ravaged by flood. And Prashanthi itself, with all its structures, which has become a spiritual destination to millions of people all over the world, who find in its power to nourish the mind and calm the soul. And all these drawing unsolicited blame and claim from all that you have gone. The water project is an unparalleled example of public-private partnership. While other universities are infected by perplexity, anxiety, discordance, discipline, and irreverence, the accreditation committee calls this university a crest jewel. Prashanthi Nilayam itself is struck by its sheer size, any visitor here, and the clockwork precision with which the whole organization operates. It's over a year since his lovable form disappeared from our midst. But our greatest privilege is that God came here as man, circumscribing his powers to accommodate a human form. Daivam Manusha Rupam. What greater love can a creator show to his creation? Generations to come will hardly believe that such a one as this ever walked the earth. Sai Ram.
Thank you very much, sir, for those wonderfully apt words befitting the auspiciousness of the occasion. The first speaker for the third day of the Prashanthi Vidwan Mahasabha is Sri Babani Shankar Padi. Sri Babani hails from the state of Orissa. He did his schooling at the Sathya Sai Vidya Vihar at Brahmapur. He joined the Brindavan campus in the year 2002 for the BSc Honours course and then completed his MSc in chemistry in the year 2005 from the Prashanthi Nilayam campus. Following his MSc, he did his MBA from the Prashanthi Nilayam campus and then went on to complete his MPhil in the year 2009. He is presently pursuing his doctoral research in the area of social enterprises. Babani has also been a Balvika student, and he's also been a script writer for several of the dramas that have been staged here in the Kulwant Hall in Bhagavan's Divine Presence. Sri Babani has also had the rare privilege of accompanying Swami during his visit to Delhi. I now invite Sri Babani to come and share his thoughts with us.
Offering my humble pranams at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Master. Respected elders and dear members of the Sai family, we are celebrating the holy Navaratri. The Mother Goddess is being worshipped throughout India in different forms, in different places. In the far northeast of our country, she is worshipped as Goddess Kamaksha. The Goddess Kamaksha prevails over the tradition of Tantra. In the form of a cleft on a rock, she is the creative desire of humanity. Desire born out of nature, pure and aggressive. She becomes the untamed, unbridled Shakti of our existence. In the down south, Goddess is worshipped as Kamakshi. In the form of Kamakshi, she prevails over the ecology of nurture. The desire is restrained here, is nurtured, and is transformed to devotion to God. What was raw there becomes regal here. What was abstracted there becomes manifested here. Kamaksha and Kamakshi demonstrate the two stages of human development of our spiritual progress. But there is a third dimension, the third stage to it, which is more mysterious and enigmatic. The goddess worshipped as Kanyakumari at the southernmost tip of India. How profound the significance was for those founding fathers of our nation to commence the habitation of this land, invoking the mother goddess there. The legend of Kanyakumari reveals that the goddess incarnated as a princess in order to slay a demon called Vanasura. In due course, she realizes her own identity and desires for Shiva. Now there are many climaxes in the story. What we see now is the goddess waiting as a bride, waiting for Shiva, waiting for an auspicious muhurtam, where the divinity comes out of his trance and accepts her as her bride. For many days I was puzzled by this mythological construction, this unusual arrangement. Why do we conceive such an arrangement? The bridegroom is left somewhere wandering in the mighty Himalayas, and thousands of miles away, the poor bride has to wait for centuries. The bridegroom gives a promise that I will come, and he is yet to come. And the bride declares that she will wait, and she is waiting for centuries. This appears to be a very interesting story, but the story appears to be unfinished. The story could have ended. Shiva would have come down, they could have got married, and as they say, they would have lived happily ever after, but it does not happen. This arrangement defines the concept of Bharat. It defines our existence as a nation, as a race. At the summit of the land, we place the ultimate truth, the reality Shiva, and at the bottom, it is the human soul aspiring for divine proximity and intimacy. And in due course of time, the ultimate truth, Shiva, has to come down, he has to climb down the Himalayas, he has to come to the human level, he has to traverse the entire landmass, come to the southern point, the another extreme of our conscious, and only then the union can be possible. This is what Bharat stands for. The generations that have gone and generations which will come, as the children of Bharat, we have only one destiny: to wait and yearn for divine intimacy, divine love, and divine proximity. Such an auspicious muhurtam arrived more than 70 years back, 20th October 1940, where Shiva apparently comes out of his trance and reveals his avataric splendor, demystifies a part of his identity when he declares, I am no more your Sathya, I am Sai. Maya has left, my devotees are waiting for me. Years later, in another auspicious movement, he again demystifies a part of his identity. After a long divine drama, he reveals to us the genesis of the Sai avatar, the legend of sage Bharadwaja's penance, his visit to the Mount Kailasa, the cosmic dance of Shiva and Shakti, and the genesis of Sai avatar. They have become inseparable narratives, sacred narratives of our celebrations and of our collective memory. What stands out in this narrative is not only Shiva's promise, but on the other hand, a sage like Bharadwaja who has to suffer, who was paralyzed for many days. What I intend to say here is human suffering with a divine aspiration, human suffering can be transformed and can open the path of liberation for the entire mankind. Apparently, what we see is the one Bharadwaja who suffered, and the suffering became benediction, it became a blessing, when the path of deliverance for the entire humanity was bestowed in the form of Sai avatar. For last 2 years, many times, many of us, we feel as if our hearts were paralyzed because we are not able to see the beautiful form of our Master. We are not able to extract a manifested response from Him as we might have done before. Now, this sense of separation, this sense of pain, is like a knife plunged into our hearts. We cannot abandon it there, we cannot take it out. We simply alternate between an emotional purge and an intellectual nothingness. But the pain is also a benediction, it is also a blessing. Just like Bharadwaja's suffering opened the doors of grace, nobody can predict, we can only hope that from the womb of the dark night of collective grief, today, tomorrow, we will invoke the twilight of grace, happiness, joy, and divine love. A Sufi saint beautifully captures this emotion. He calls out to his master, "जब तू था, तब तेरे होने का गुमान था मुझे, जब तू नहीं रहा, तो तेरे होने में यकीन आ गया." When you were here, I had only pride and vanity that you are with me. अब जो तू नहीं रहा, तो तेरे होने में मुझे यकीन आ गया. You have disappeared now, I am left with faith that you are with me. जब तू बाहर था, तो डर था कि कहीं कमबख्त नींद ना आ जाए मुझे. अब जो अंदर छुप गया है तू, आंखें खोलने से भी डर लगने लगा है. When you were seen, I was afraid that I will fall asleep. But now that you have gone inside and you have hidden there, remaining awake becomes a nightmare for me. Open the pages of Ramayana. The entire epic rests on two themes. Two themes repeat throughout the epic: separation and yearning. Characters are separated from each other, they meet again, they long for each other, they meet again, they are separated again. The father is separated from son, brothers are separated, wife is taken away from the husband, the master waits for the servant, the citizens wait for their king. But there is longing, there is yearning. If the separation is the bitter reality, the epic shows that it is the yearning, the longing becomes the mystical sweetness that fills our lives. 5,000 years back, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna decides not to confront his enemies, he throws down his weapons. Krishna delivers Gitopadesham. Now what I want to clarify here, that there are different planes of reality, different planes of existence. In the objective reality, those who were present on Kurukshetra, what they would have seen is that two friends, Arjuna and Krishna. Arjuna is depressed, he does not want to fight, he throws down his weapons. Krishna goes, talks to him for a few minutes, perhaps a friendly chat, perhaps some words of motivation. Then Arjuna gets up, he takes his weapon, he fights, he wins the war. It takes a sage like Vyasa to capture that objective reality in a different plane of existence and to capture the essence and to present it in front of us in 700 verses of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita that for 5,000 years have been contributing to our human progress, growth and development, our perceptions of self society, governance, spiritual and corporal life, our sense of idealism, everything. But in the objective reality, that time there, what would have happened is just exchange of few words between Krishna and Arjuna. Now in this avatar, we see around us the objective reality of what this avatar has created, accomplished or achieved. A great superstructure of faith, service and devotion. Mammoth projects that humanity dares to repeat anywhere else. Million acts of compassion, countless experiences, miracles. This objective reality itself overwhelms us. Still we are able to cognize it, we are able to feel it. We can classify, construct and deconstruct it the way we want. But what we cannot comprehend perhaps is what this avatar has done in different planes of existence, in different planes of reality. What kind of change he has brought or still is bringing. We need many Vyasas for many centuries to come and compile and capture that essence and produce it in front of us so that we mortals can find out what really has happened. That is where they say that difference between an avatar and a sage or a saint. The landscape is filled with many sages, saints, prophets, but they always function, operate under certain conditionalities imposed by time, society, and different aspects. The saints and sages are like artists, creators. They come with their own pictures. They show us those pictures that inspires us. We are motivated. They show us a world of utopia. We are inspired to follow it. But Avatar is not an artist. In a worldly manifestation, I can say that Avatar is more like an eye doctor who catches each of us and corrects our vision, restores our sight. Because for a saint or a sage or a prophet, the world is a unified entity. But for an avatar, each individual is a world in itself. Each individual is a complete creation in itself. Many years back, few devotees prayed to Swami. Swami, today is a full moon evening. We shall have a gathering on the Chitravati sands. Swami understood that these innocent devotees want to witness Leelas there in the Chitravati, where Swami would materialize many things out of the sand. Swami lovingly replied, Bangaru, do you think that I can only transform Chitravati sand and no other sand? Someone told, no Swami, here near the construction site, heaps of river sand are there. We will go there and have bhajans. Then Swami asked, do you think that I need sand for miracles? Then some devotee told, then Swami will go to bhajan hall, we'll sit there and have bhajans. If you are gracious enough, some miracle will happen. Then Swami told that you want me to entertain you with miracles. You clamor for miracles only. When will you understand that all of you are my miracles? Your very existence is miracle of mine. Kasturi ji beautifully captures this essence, that in one moment our plan of full moon fun was blasted out, in a simple statement, we understood that what kind of phenomena is with us. We could not see that, we could not find anywhere in written human history. Villagers, innocent villagers who were there when Swami revealed this statement, many of them, they were not educated, highly educated. They were native, common man, shining in their native splendor. Many of them might have wondered what kind of miracle Swami is talking about. Well, as I told, we can leave some of the things for a future Vyasa to decipher and present in front of us. What this avatar has willed to achieve, has accomplished, and has been doing in something that we cannot comprehend. I will end with the beautiful words of Tagore, who says, "I thought my journey has come to its end, at the last limit of my power, that the path before me was closed, that provisions were exhausted, and the time come to take shelter in a silent obscurity. But I find that thy will knows no end in me, and when old words die out on the tongue, new melodies break forth from the hearts, and where the old tracks are lost, new country is revealed with its wonders." Dear brothers and sisters, we will grow old with these verses perhaps, and in the twilight of our years, perhaps in a retrospective mode, we'll try to find out if there was a miracle in our life, or our life itself has turned into some miracle. In a worldly sense, in an objective reality, we might have led ordinary life. Nothing extraordinary we have achieved from a worldly perspective. But we might live in an extraordinary time, where the extraordinary turns of events has brought us to know divine love in this form and in this name. And perhaps then we will understand how come each individual of us, we have become the greatest miracle of this avatar. Jai Sai Ram.
Bhagavan himself has said that it's impossible for any mortal to understand the ways of the avatar. It's only possible to experience him and enjoy the sweetness that he brings. Thank you, Sri Bhavani Shankar, for your thought-provoking speech, which helped us bask in the glory, the grandeur, and the mystery that the avatar is. Thank you very much. The second speaker for the day is Sri Sai Prasanna GR. Sai Prasanna hails from Chennai. He completed his schooling from the Padma Sheshadri School at Chennai. He joined the Brindavan campus for the BCom Honours program in the year 2008, and he is currently in the second year of the MBA Finance course at the Prashanthi Nilayam campus. Prasanna is an excellent writer and has contributed to several magazines, both as a writer and a cartoonist, right from his school days. He has also taken active part in the cultural activities of the Institute and has also performed in the convocation drama in the Divine Presence. His passion is to contribute to his motherland and his countrymen's welfare in some tangible form in the years to come. He's going to address us today on the topic, the power of mother's love. Sri Sai Prasanna.
With humility and love, I offer myself at the divine lotus feet of our beloved Mother Sai. Respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, Sai Ram to one and all. There are many spiritual texts and works that exist in our Indian history, describing the glory and grandeur of a mother, divine mother. The Vedas talk about the Sri Suktam, the Meda Suktam, the Durga Suktam. Sri Adi Shankara gave us the Saundarya Lahari. Many other works, including the Durga Saptashati, the Devi Mahatmyam, exist. But then, if there is one single most powerful form of worship in the name of Namas, it is found in the Brahmanda Purana, the 1,000 names of Devi Lalita, which is popularly called as the Lalita Sahasranama. Lalita Sahasranama is so very special because it was Devi herself who gave humanity this opportunity to worship her in a form and manner in which she likes. It was later passed on by Sri Hayagriva, an avatar of Lord Vishnu, to sage Agastya, and today we have this grand opportunity to chant the name of the Devi in a manner which she loves us to. Lalita Sahasranama, Swami says, the word Lalita is equivalent to the word Swaha. Swaha meaning offering in the fire. Swaha meaning the end. It is the ultimatum. Srimati Vijayakumari, in her book Anyatha Sharanam Nasti, describes extensively the celebrations of Dashara in Puttaparthi. So lucky she was that you would be envy of her. Swami used to come every day in different vahanas, just like how the Lord in Tirupati comes during the Brahmotsavam time. He used to adorn himself in different robes on different days. She says that she got a vision. She got a vision of Swami as Lalita Tripura Sundari herself. A beauty unparalleled in all three worlds put together. She says that Bhagavan used to be wearing jasmine flowers on his long hairs in her vision. A yellow sari with a red border with kumkum smeared all over his head. He used to resemble the Devi herself. Indeed, for all of us seated here, it is Bhagavan. It is Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai as the same Lalita who prevails over from Srinagara. Talking about the Lalita Sahasranamam, I could see two dimensions in it. One being the love and glory of the Devi, and the other being the power, the might, and the Shakti that she is. Talking about love, the verses say, Pandaputra Vadotyukta, Bala Vikrama Nandita. Bala, she's a small girl who is love incarnate, but yet she's at war with Pandasura. Her love does not hinder her from destroying the evil in Pandasura. The same goes with Lord Krishna, who destroys Kamsa, and the same goes with Subramanya in the case of Surapadman. And the same goes with our beloved Mother Sai, who corrects us every time the evil in us crops up. To talk about Swami's love, there are innumerable instances. Let me quote just one of them. There was this boy in our hostel who was not of a financially sound background. Swami knew this, and he assured him that he would take care of all the financial requirements. But the boy was so hesitant and shy that he wouldn't approach Bhagavan for any monetary requirements. He sat there in front of the canteen without coupons, in hunger and starvation, with tear in his eyes, and was mouthing the Lalita Sahasranama. The verses came thus: Annadha Vasudha Vriddha Brahmatmaikya Swarupini. Annada, she is the provider of food, our Mother Sai. And lo and behold, just when he was chanting this, somebody tapped him from the back, and he turns and finds the person handing him over an envelope with hard currency in it, with an instruction saying that this is from Bhagavan for you to have your food. We simply cannot fathom the depth of love that Swami has for us. If that was not enough, if Lalita Sahasranama For Lalita Sahasranama, if it is not enough to describe the love and glory, it goes on to describe the power and might that Mother Goddess is. Today, we live in a world where scientists across the world claim to have found something called a God particle. How silly of us, I would wonder, because it is simply beyond human comprehension to fathom the depth of the divine energy and limit it to a particle. In fact, the Lalita Sahasranama says, Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani Divya Vigraha. Aneka Koti Brahmanda Janani. She is the mother of many, many universes, not just the mother of you and me. And it describes Vishwagarbha, Swarnagarbha, Varada Vagadishwari. She is Vishwagarbha. She holds the earth in her womb. Let me give you a small example. It happened here in 2008 when Swami came here. On one fine evening, he changed Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu into Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. From praying and worshipping Bhagavan for the welfare of all the beings in this world, we have evolved to starting to pray for all the beings in all the worlds. Proof enough that Bhagavan is the mother who is not just a mother for us, but is concerned and thoughtful about all his creations. It says, Deshakala Parichinna Sarvaga Sarvamohini. She is beyond time and space. Deshakala Parichinna. When I read these lines, I get the conviction that it would be futile to confine Bhagavan to the 85 years of mortal existence that we are aware of. He is simply beyond time and space. He is Sarvaga Sarvamohini. He has that Akarshana Shakti to bring in people from different directions upon himself. I would like to quote the example of myself. I had no prior experience of Bhagavan before I joined this university. Neither was I from a background of Sai devotees. But it happened so that once I performed here in the role of Garuda in a drama in my first year. I used to have this odd look with a beak and a couple of golden wings fluttering over me. Perhaps it was too odd for Bhagavan too, for he was attracted. And when he called for the photo session, I go up the aisle and seize the opportunity and ask him, I tell him, Swami, I am your Vahana. I tell him in Tamil, Swami, I am your Vahanam, na unga Vahanam, Swami. Swami immediately, on a very serious note, turns, looks at me and says, I have been seeing you. It struck me much later that what he meant was he required no prior introduction from us. He was simply beyond time and space. And today I stand with the confidence that immaterial of his physical presence or absence, he was, he is, and he will be guarding us all for eons to come. The Falashruti of Lalita Sahasranama says that it confers upon its readers discrimination, discipline, fulfills all the desires. But then here comes Bhagavan and adds a caveat and changes the dimension of the Sahasranamas. He says, and I quote, in a discourse on 10th March 2003, he says, people chant Lalita Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, but no benefit accrues from chanting any number of Sahasranamas without purity of heart. Fill your heart with the essence of Sahasranamas and put into practice at least 1% of your recital. I unquote. I would like to end with a story which most of you might be aware of. I imagined once that I held God's hand and God was carrying me across the shores of a beach. We left 2 pairs of footprints on the sands. It was a joyous occasion and blissful moment indeed. But then tides came lashing, tides of problems, difficulties, dilemmas kept lashing us. And suddenly I find that there was only 1 pair of footprint left on the sand. Furious I was, and in all my ignorance, I turned to Swami and asked, God, why did you leave me? Why did you leave when I needed you the most? Smiling at my ignorance, he replies, look carefully, son. It is I who am carrying you on my arms and shoulders. And in fact, today you stand closer to my heart than ever before. Swami, it was on this day that you declared your avatarhood. But I would like to declare something today in my own small fashion. I would like to declare that it is my love and gratitude for you that would go on forever and forever. Thank you, Swami, for all that you have given me. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you, Brother Sai Prasanna, for sharing the insights on the Shakti principle and for once again emphasizing on the fact that mothers love to be the greatest of all. And once again thanking you for the inspiring words. The third and the last speaker for today's session is Ms. G. Shilpa. Ms. Shilpa hails from the state of Andhra Pradesh. She has done a schooling from Sri Sathya Sai Primary School right from her first standard to 12th and is presently pursuing her final year BCom Honors course at Anandapur campus, Sri Sathya Sai Institute of Higher Learning. Ms. Shilpa has been an active and enthusiastic participant in various events held in the campus, be it sports, academics, or cultural. She belongs to the Sports Self-Reliance program and keeps interest in games like throwball, handball, and basketball. She also had a golden opportunity to enact a drama put up in front of Swami in this very Kulwant hall. The topic on which she will be speaking today is God is the essence of all. I invite Ms. Shilpa to the dais. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. 72 years ago, on October 20th, 1940, young Sathya was on his way to school when suddenly he turned back, returned home, flung his books away, and cried out loudly, I no longer belong to you. Maya has left me. My devotees are eagerly waiting for me. I am leaving. So saying, young Sathya set out on a mission, which has today become a mission accomplished. To that legend whom we revere as God, I surrender myself completely. Respected elders, dear sisters and brothers, Sai Ram to one and all. His hands moved with incessant vigor upon the canvas. With deft strokes, he splashed some hues of crimson and orange. Painstakingly, he finished the painting and turned to look at me. Those eyes had a divine glow in them. He pointed to the canvas, and there I saw the words etched on it. Whispering breezes called to me, soft-voiced across the lowland sod. Like immanent divinity, be still and know that I am God. Dear Lord, when I saw you for the first time, my eyes were filled with your celestial beauty. And when I shut my eyes now, only your form still lingers on, just as the splendor in the western sky after the sun has sunk behind the horizon. I looked at the canvas. It kept moving back, as if it was being pulled by some unseen hand. The closer I moved, the farther it went. I stood still. Everything around me started revolving. The scene disappeared. I woke up with a start. I had dreamt of God and of myself being separated from Him. It carried a message and made me think, if that beautiful canvas could mesmerize me, then how much more beautiful is the hand that created it? The refrain echoed in my mind. Like immanent divinity, be still and know that I am God. To experience the immanence of divinity, we must first perceive the existence of God in all. The Vedas declare, Raso Vai Saha, God is the essence of all. God is verily the essence of our lives, for He created us and bestowed on us the wealth of wisdom. But, however, all cannot comprehend this sacred principle. Let me illustrate this point by narrating a story of how man's delusion has prevented him from attaining wisdom. Once in the heavenly quarters of the demigods, there was a meeting held. All the demigods felt that God had created man with bestowing on him the most precious wealth of wisdom, but that man did not deserve it. So they decided to steal this wisdom from man and place it somewhere so that it would be beyond his reach. They took it to the highest mountain peaks and thought of placing it there. But one of the gods disagreed, saying that one day man will scale the great heights of the peaks. He will climb mountains and then he may find it. Then they took it to the depths of the ocean. Once again, one of the gods disapproved, saying that man will one day learn to swim. He will dive deeper and deeper, and then he may ultimately find it. Again, gods took it to the core of the earth's crust and thought of placing it there. For the third time, one of the gods reminded them that one day man will excavate the earth, and then he may find the precious wealth of wisdom. By now, all the gods were exhausted, although they admired the capabilities of man. Finally, one of the gods said that there was one place which man had not explored and is not likely to do so very easily. Finally, all the gods came together and placed the most precious wealth of wisdom within man himself. Since then, the wisdom lay buried within man. Thus, time and again, man has successfully failed to realize this truth. He has traveled thousands of miles into the external world and even has entered the outer space, but has miserably failed to take even one step into his innermost being. He is drowned in the ocean of delusion and struggles to find a way out. Is there anyone who can help him? Yes, there is. The ever compassionate Lord, who despite our flaws accepts us. To experience this compassion, we must open our heart to God and install Him therein. That is the ultimate step to divinity. Here I am reminded of a beautiful story. Once Lord Vishnu asked sage Narada as to which among the 5 elements was the greatest. Sage Narada replied that earth was the greatest. Then Lord Vishnu remarked that 3/4 of the earth is covered by water. In such a case, which between the two is greater, earth or water? Sage Narada agreed that water was greater. Lord Vishnu asked again. In that case, sage Agastya drank the water of the oceans in a single gulp. Then who is greater, Agastya or water? Sage Narada replied, "Indeed, my lord, Agastya is greater." Lord Vishnu again asked, "But now Agastya is a tiny star in the firmament. So tell me, who is greater, the sky or water?" And then sage Narada replied, "It is obvious the sky is greater." Lord Vishnu nodded in approval and said, "Your understanding is correct. Indeed, the sky is greater." When God incarnated as Vamana Avatar, he asked for 3 steps from King Bali. And in the course of accepting the gift of 3 steps, Lord Vamana assumed the form of Trivikrama. He covered the entire earth in 1 step, the entire sky in the 2nd. There was no place to put the 3rd step. King Bali had to offer his head for the 3rd step. So, in this case, who is greater, God or the sky? Sage Narada replied, "Swami, when the mere foot of the Lord could envelop the entire sky, then how much more greater would his full form be? Indeed, God is greater than the sky." Lord Vishnu then gave a meaningful smile and said, "God who envelops the entire sky dwells in the heart of a pure devotee. In such a case, who is greater, God or a devotee?" Sage Narada emphatically replied, "Indeed, my lord, a pure-hearted devotee is the greatest of all. Indeed, truly, God resides in the heart of a devotee. We must realize that God is the indweller. He is the doer. He holds the steering wheel of our lives and knows very well when to accelerate and when to use the brake." Bhagavan has amazingly given an analogy of the human body and the car. The incident behind the analogy is, once Bhagavan had called a family for an interview, and in his casual conversation, Bhagavan asked a small boy, "What do you like the most?" The boy's mother, who was seated beside him, made a silent prayer in her heart, wishing that her son would reply, "Swami, I love you the most." But the boy frankly said, "I like Rolls-Royce." Bhagavan gave a broad smile and said, "You like cars, so can you give me one car?" The boy thought for a while and said, "I cannot give away my car, but I'll let you drive my car." Bhagavan then blissfully smiled and said, "That's precisely what I'm looking for. I do not want your car, just allow me to drive your car." And from there he began the fascinating philosophy of how the human body is like a car and God is the person who drives your car. So be sure, when God drives your car, He'll always take you on the right path. Dear Lord, even if my path is full of obstacles, I'm sure with you in my car, I'll always win the race. As for me, I have chosen my path, and I can only say in the words of Robert Frost, I would be saying this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. That has made all the difference in my life. Jai Sai Ram.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
embodiments of love.
ప్రతి మానవుడి ఎందుకును సత్యనిత్యమైనటువంటి ప్రేమతత్వం ఒక్కటే ఉంటుండాలి.
In every man there is eternal truth in the form of the principle of love.
ఆ ప్రేమను మీరు బలంగా పెట్టుకోండి.
Strengthen that love within you.
ఆ ప్రేమ ఒక్కటే నీకు శాంతిని అందిస్తుంది.
And that very love will confer peace.
ఆ ప్రేమ ఒక్కటే మీకు ధైర్యాన్ని కూడా చేకూరుస్తుంది.
And that love will give you all the courage.
కనుక మనము ప్రేమ ఒక్కదాన్ని మనం సంపాదించుకుంటే చాలు.
If we cultivate this love, it is enough.
ఆ ప్రేమనే మన యొక్క దైవము.
And love is God.
ప్రేమనే దైవము, దైవమే ప్రేమ.
Love is God, God is love.
కనుక ఆ ప్రేమ యందే నీవు నివసించు.
Live in love.
మన జీవితం అంతా కూడాను ఆ ప్రేమ చేతనే మనం గడపాలి.
Let's lead our lives in love.
ఇలాంటి ప్రేమతత్వాన్ని నీవు నీ యందే ఉంచుకుని నీవు ఎందుకోసం బాధపడుతున్నావు?
Why do you worry? Why do you suffer having love within you latent?
కనుక ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
embodiments of love.
మనం ప్రకృతి లోపల అనేక రూపాలు చూస్తున్నాము.
We see many forms in nature.
ఏ రూపం చూసినప్పని ఒక రూపం ఒక రూపం సంబంధమే లేనట్టుగా ఉంటుంటాయి.
No two forms are alike or similar.
రూపనామములు భేదముగా కనిపిస్తున్నాయి.
There's a lot of variety in names and forms.
అవస్థాత్రయములు వేరువేరుగా కనిపిస్తున్నాయి.
We find so much of variety and diversity.
కానీ ఉన్నదేమిటి? ఒక్కటే.
In fact, there's only one existence.
ఈ ఏకత్వాన్ని నీవు మర్చిపోకుండా చూసుకోవాలి.
You should never forget this principle of oneness.
నీటి యందు ఉన్నటువంటి నీడను చూచి మనం ఆశించి పెంచుతున్నాము.
You are just deluded. You want the diversity.
కనుకనే ఇవన్నీ కూడా మన భ్రమలే.
It is all your imagination.
మనం ఎవరి కోసము బాధపడనక్కర్లేదు.
You don't need to feel sad for anybody.
నీ కోసం కూడా నీవు బాధపడనక్కర్లేదు.
Nor for your own sake.
దీనికి నీ కోసం నీవు ఆనందించు.
You be happy for yourself.
ఒరే నాన్న ఈ దేహం ఇచ్చారు.
Why this body is given?
ఈ దేహాన్ని కట్టుకొని నేను వచ్చాను.
I am here with this
నేను
body.
దీని వల్ల సాధించేటువంటిది ఏమిటి?
What is that I am going to achieve in this body?
ఈ చదువులా కాదు.
Is that education?
ఈ సంధ్యలా కాదు.
No.
ఈ ఆటలా కాదు.
Not the
ఈ
games.
పాటలా కాదు.
Not the
ఈ
music.
మాటలా కాదు.
Not games.
దేనికోసం వచ్చాను నేను?
Why are you here?
నేనెవరో నేను తెలుసుకోవటం కోసం వచ్చాను.
You are here to know yourself through nature.
కనుకనే మనం దేనికి పోయినప్పటికీ నేనెవరు.
You may go anywhere. We have to put a question to ourselves like this: who am I?
ఈ నేనెవరో అనేటువంటి తెలుసుకుంటే నీవెవరో నీకు గుర్తవుతుంది.
If you know yourself truly, you will be knowing the rest.
పవిత్రాత్మ స్వరూపులారా,
embodiments of sacred divinity.
నిజంగా ఇట్టి సత్యాన్ని తెలుసుకోవటం చాలా సులభమైనటువంటి మార్గమే.
It is so simple and easy to know the path of truth.
నిన్ను నీవు తెలుసుకోవడం కంటే సింపుల్ అయినటువంటి మరొకటి లేనే లేదు.
There is no other simpler things than to know one's own true identity.
ఇతరులను తెలుసుకోవటమైనా కూడా చాలా కష్టమే, కానీ నిన్ను నీవు తెలుసుకోవటం చాలా సులభం.
It is difficult to know others, but to know yourself, it is so simple and easy.
కనుకనే ఈ నిన్ను నీవు తెలుసుకోవడానికి తగినటువంటి సాధన నీవు చేయిస్తురా.
Follow the spiritual practice that helps you to know your true nature.
దేహానికి అనేక రకమైనటువంటి జబ్బులు ఏర్పడుతుంటాయి.
The body suffers from different ailments.
అనేక రకమైనటువంటి ట్రబుల్స్ వస్తుంటాయి.
The body faces many troubles.
కానీ దేహమునకు ఆహార విహారం చేత లభించినటువంటి బాధలకు మనం ఏమాత్రం కూడా కృంగిపోకూడదు.
The suffering of the body, the ailments of the body are due to the food and habits. We should not worry about
కనుక మనం దీనిని మనం ఏమాత్రము లెక్క చేయకుండా,
we should not be mindful of the suffering.
మనం వచ్చినటువంటి పని ఏమిటి?
What is the purpose of life?
ఇప్పుడు మీరందరూ కూడా ఇక్కడికి వచ్చి చేరారు.
All of you have assembled here.
ఎందుకోసం వచ్చారు మీరు ఇక్కడ?
Why are you here?
చదువు కోసం వచ్చారు.
You are here for studies.
వచ్చిండేది చదువు కోసమని.
You have come here for studies.
కానీ వెతికేటటువంటి ఏమేమో వెతుకుతున్నారు.
But you are in search for something different.
కనుక మీరు అక్కడ క్వశ్చన్ వేసుకోవాలి.
This is a question you should
ఇక్కడ
put
ఎందుకోసం
yourself.
వచ్చాం?
Why have come here?
దీనికోసం మనం ప్రయత్నం చేస్తున్నామా?
Am I making an attempt to get that what I really want?
అప్పుడే మనం వచ్చిన పనిని పూర్తి నెరవేర్చుకుంటాం.
Then only your task comes to an end.
కనుక వచ్చిన పనిని మర్చి
You forget the purpose of your visit.
లేని దానిని వెతుకుతూ వస్తున్నాం మనము.
You are searching for that which is non-existent.
ప్రపంచంలో ఈ విధమైనటువంటి ఒక చింతలు అనేక మంది సరుపుతూనే ఉంటున్నారు.
People have been investigating in this way in many ways.
నా యొక్క జీవితం ఎక్కడ పోతుందో ఎక్కడ వస్తుందో అని విచారం చేస్తుంటారు.
They gone getting worried. What will happen to my life?
మనం పుట్టింది పెరగటం కోసమని.
In fact, we are
పెరిగింది సాధించడం కోసమని.
We are born, we grow.
సాధించిన దాని సత్యాన్ని తెలుసుకోవటమని.
We should know the truth.
సత్యాన్ని తెలుసుకోవడానికి తగినటువంటి కృషి చేయాలి మనం.
We should make all attempts to know the truth.
ఈ సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించడానికి ప్రయత్నం చేస్తే
Then once we make every trial,
సర్వము మనకు అర్థమవుతుంది.
you will be able to comprehend the rest.
కనుక ప్రేమ చేతనే సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించు.
It's only through love you can know the truth.
చూడండి, ఇక్కడ ఎక్కడ చూసినా జ్యోతులంతా వెలుగుతున్నాయి.
You find the bulbs burning all around.
జ్యోతులు అనేక రూపములుగా కనిపిస్తున్నాయి.
You find different forms of bulbs.
కానీ ప్రతి జ్యోతి ఎందుకు ఉన్నది కరెంటే.
But in every bulb there is the current.
ఈ కరెంట్ మాత్రం లేకుండా పోతే ఈ జ్యోతులు ఏవి వెలగవు.
Without the current, the bulbs, you don't get light
మన
out of
యందు
them.
ఉన్నటువంటి ఆత్మనే మెయిన్ స్విచ్.
The Atma within, the spirit within us is the main switch.
అది ఏ చెవుల్లో చేరి వినిపిస్తుండాది.
That current, the spirit gets into the
కన్నుల్లో చేరి
ear
కనిపిస్తుంటుండాది.
to help you to hear, gets into the eye.
ప్రతి
to
దేహం
see.
నందు కూడాను చైతన్య స్వరూపంగా అనుభవిస్తుంటున్నాయి.
And it's the same current that will help you to experience the awareness within the
ఈ
body.
అన్నింటికి కూడాను ఈ కరెంటే మూలాధారము.
The current is the primordial principle
అది ఏ
behind this.
దివ్యత్వము.
That is
అది
divinity.
ఏ చైతన్యము.
That is awareness.
అట్టి చైతన్యాన్ని మనము ఈనాడు విస్మరించుదాం.
We have forgotten that constant integrated awareness.
చైతన్యం అనేటువంటి దాన్ని మనం ఎప్పుడు కూడా మరవకుండా ఉండాలి.
We should never forget that consciousness or awareness.
ఈ చైతన్యాన్ని ఉండినంత వరకే మనం ఇక్కడ చైతన్య స్వరూపులుగా ఉంటాం.
So long there is consciousness, you will experience that awareness.
కనుక ఈ చైతన్యాన్ని మనం అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి ప్రయత్నించాలి.
We should make every attempt to understand what awareness is.
చైతన్యం ఎక్కడి నుంచినో రావటం లేదు.
It is not coming from
ఎక్కడికే
outside.
పోవటం లేదు.
It is not leaving you either.
అక్కడనే ఉన్నది, అక్కడే పోతుండాలి.
It is the very existence then and there itself.
కనుక
So
ఆధ్యాత్మిక తత్వం లోపల మనం అనేక రకములైనటువంటి యొక్క ఆపోహలకు గురి అవుతున్నాము.
in spirituality, we have got so many doubts and mistaken ideas.
ఈ డౌట్స్ వల్ల మనమే చాలా పిచ్చివారమైపోతున్నాం.
Because of these doubts, we turn mad.
మనం ఈ పిచ్చివారు కావడానికి కారణము ఈ డౌట్సే.
Doubts are the responsible for our madness.
మొట్టమొదటి డౌట్స్ మనం దూరం చేయాలి.
We should dispel all our doubts.
డౌట్స్ ఉండినంత వరకు కూడాను మనం సత్యాన్ని మనం చూడలేము.
So long there are doubts, you can never experience truth.
కనుకనే ఆ డౌట్స్ వల్లనే మనము ఇంత అమాయకులమైపోతున్నాము.
We have become ignorant because of these doubts.
ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా,
Embodiments of love.
ముఖ్యంగా మీరు డౌట్స్ని ఎక్కువ చేర్చుకోకూడదు.
Don't entertain doubts more and more.
మానవుని యందు ఈ డౌట్స్ అంతా చేరటం చేతనే తనను తాను మర్చిపోతున్నాడు.
It's only the doubt that makes you forget your true nature.
విశ్వాసం చాలా ప్రధానమైనటువంటిది.
Strong faith is essential.
ఇది బలమైనటువంటి నమ్మకం కాదు కదా.
That strong faith is very much necessary.
ఆ నమ్మకమే లేకపోతే నీవు కేవలం గుడ్డివాడైపోతావు.
Bereft of faith, you are blind.
కన్నుండి గ్రుడ్డులై కళ్యాణకరమైన నీ మూర్తి దర్శింపనేరనైరి.
Having eyes with vision, you are just blind, being not able to see the munificent
చెవులుండి
form of
చెవుటలై
God.
అతి మనోహరమైన నీగాన మాలింపనేరనైరి.
With all the ears, you are not able to listen to the melody of the divine
పాణి
music.
పంకజమంద పరమాత్మయుండి పాడు సంసారము కోరినైరి.
And forgetting the God, you want to get yourself rot in family life.
ఇది సూరదాస్ చెప్పాడు.
This is declared by Surada.
ఏమిటిది? నేను కన్నులు ఉండేటప్పుడు ఏం కోరినాను?
When I had eyes, what is that I wanted?
కానీ ఇప్పుడు కన్నులు పోయిన తర్వాత ఏం కోరుతున్నాను?
Now I am blind, what is it I want?
కన్నులు ఉండినప్పుడు దేనిని చూచామో దాన్నే ఇప్పుడు కావాలని కోరుతున్నాను.
So what all that I saw when I had those eyes, having lost the vision, now I want the very same thing.
లేకున్నా కూడాను కనిపించేది ఒక్కటే.
Therefore, in spite of the vision, you see only one thing, even in its absence.
కన్నుల యొక్క దీంతో ఆధార పెట్టుకోవద్దు.
Don't go by the vision only.
డివైన్ విజన్, ఆధ్యాత్మిక శక్తి నీ కాంతి.
The divine vision, the divine light.
ఆ చైతన్యం యొక్క తత్వము నీవు మనసులో నింపుకోవాలి.
The divine light is the divine power.
ఆ డివైన్ లైట్ అనేటువంటిది ప్రతి వ్యక్తి యందు కూడా ఉంటున్నది.
The divine strength is present in everyone.
ఆ లైట్ లేకుండా అయినపోతే ఈ లైట్ అంతా ఏవి రావు.
Without the divine light, you cannot see any light.
కనుక మనకు మెయిన్ లైట్ ఆత్మనే.
So the main divine light is Atma.
దీనిని పురస్కరించుకుని శంకర్ల వారు ప్రపంచమంతా సంచరించి భజగోవిందం అనేటువంటి దీంట్లో ప్రచారం చేశాడు.
It was only in that song Celestial Bhajagovindam. The same message is propagated and publicized all over the world by Shankara.
ఏమిటి ఇదంతాను?
What is all this?
దేనిని చింతించాలో దానిని చింతించడం లేదే.
You are not inquiring that what has got to inquire.
భజ గోవిందం.
Think of God, sing His glory.
దైవత్వాన్ని నీవు చింతించు.
Think of God.
దైవత్వం కానటువంటి దాన్ని చింతించి ప్రయోజనం ఏమిటి?
If you think the rest, what for is the life?
కనుక మనం చింతించవలసింది దైవ చింతనే.
What is to be thought of is only God.
నీవే దైవము.
You are God.
దైవం మాత్రం ప్రత్యేకంగా లేడు.
God is not separate.
You and I are one అన్నాడు.
You and God are one.